Yes, yes. Welcome to another episode of Conversations of the Heart. It is your boy T Till. We have a special guest today, a very, very special guest indeed, friend of the show, a relationship coach extraordinaire. She is the dating mechanic. And this is Alicia Bennett. Welcome to the show again. Thank you for coming on and having this conversation with me.
Of
Appreciate you.
course, of course. Thank you for having me once again. I love it.
Yes, yes. So we are going to get into a good conversation today, surrounding just the process of finding love again, after heartbreaks, and whether it be heartbreaks, boyfriend, girlfriend, could have been a called off engagement or divorce, whatever that is, just the process of finding love again, what that looks like, the different avenues of finding love again, right? Process
Mhm.
with yourself, right? And with others too. Um, so for the people who don't know, just tell them just a little bit about yourself, where they can find you, right? And go from there.
All right. Well, once again, my name is Alicia Bennett, and I am the dating mechanic. I'm a relationship and dating coach, and I work with singles, premaritals, and couples. I have my line back here. I have an ice line, intimacy, connection, and energy. And I also have
Ooh.
a dear future spouse line for my singles. Um, yes, I do. I do. You can find me on Facebook. That's my land. That's my place at the Dating Mechanic. And of course, Instagram, the Dating Mechanic, um, YouTube. Yeah.
Click that subscribe button, please, on the
Like and
YouTube. Thank you very,
subscribe.
very much. So we are going to get into the line in just a few minutes because I have some questions and I want the people to know just what you have available because it looks pretty good back there. You know what I'm saying? It looks amazing. And I want the people to know just the products and services that you have. We're gonna get into that too. But first, let's talk about sometimes we get into these situations, right? Marriage, girlfriend, boyfriend relationship, dating. And in each stage, right? Whether you're dating, it could be very serious. And some people could be just dating and it's like it's very, very serious, right? And you could be dating for 2, 3 years, whatever the case is, right? You break up, bad breakup, right? And there's levels to it, because then you could even get married, right? Or engaged first, and then you realize the engagement breaks off, right? That could be very devastating. And then if you take it to the next level, right, marriage, and you get married, you go through the whole process, the whole thing, and then it doesn't work out, right? And then you're left with having, as what people would say, this daunting task to start over, right? And it's just like that could look like a very scary thing to do. And but let's start here. In a relationship, it breaks up, it's no more. And for sure you're not going back. It's over, completely over. What would you say would be one of the first things that you should do right after a breakup occurs? And not just like a regular, just oh, it's okay, bye. But like actual somebody that you've actually cared about, that you've invested in. Um, and I don't mean, and I just want a disclaimer. I don't mean anything with domestic violence. I don't mean anything. So we're excluding that type of stuff right now. We're just talking about just a breakup. It just didn't work out. Irreconcilable differences. You guys just can't get along anymore. Um, Things like that. So where would you think, or what do you believe that somebody should be able to start? Like, where should they start? After a breakup, you kind of go through different emotions and things like that. So where should they start? Kind of beginning to heal and go forward.
Well, like you said, there's levels to this thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Depends on how serious the breakup is. And it depends on how the person feels. Some people have left the relationship mentally long ago. So
Mm-hmm.
now it's just them leaving physically, right? But if you're talking about someone who is emotionally invested, um, and they're really having a hard time with the transition, they're really mourning. They're mourning.
Yeah.
So they're going to go through those stages of grief,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're going to be mad. They're going to be blaming themselves. They're going to be blaming the other person. Just know whether you're, male or female, it's okay to cry. It's okay to want to be alone,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I try to get, singles or, couples who are breaking up to try and uh, do things out of substance abuse, or not abuse, but alcohol and recreational drugs,
Those
try to get
coping mechanisms.
yes, to try to
Yeah.
get them away from those types of coping mechanisms, right? Because we have all different types of coping mechanisms that don't necessarily have to be bad things, right? Or what
Mm-hmm.
we label as bad
Mm-hmm.
things. Start to exercise, right? That is endorphins, and getting up your heart rate and clearing your mind and those types of things. Drawing is good, right?
I can't draw. I
Journal,
ain't gonna lie to you.
journal,
I can't draw.
learn how,
Mm.
right? That will
Still
occupy
studies.
your mind. Journal, pick up a hobby,
Mm.
something that you've always wanted to do, but you just didn't have the time because you were dedicating your time to that person or being
Mm.
in a relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Start focusing on you. So one of the things that I tell my singles for sure to do once a breakup has been done, and it's after you've cried and you've eaten a gallon of ice cream, you've binge watched all the movies that all the sad, sappy movies that you could binge watch, right?
Mm.
You want to be able to get to a place where you can sit down with a pen and paper,
Mm.
and you want to be able to say, okay, yeah, I'm mourning this relationship. What worked in this relationship and what didn't? Singles forget this step.
Mm-hmm.
When they don't do it, they find themselves in the same kinds of relationships with the same kinds of people. What worked and what didn't work?
Mm.
What needs to change and what needs to stay the same,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you broke up in that relationship because you set boundaries and they were crossed and you decided to leave the relationship, you don't need to stop doing that,
Mm.
right? You don't
Mm-hmm.
need to stop your deal breakers. You don't need to, loosen your boundaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of those things that you believe in. Those are the things that worked for you.
Mm.
See, a lot of times we say, oh, we want to put the blame somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it didn't work out because it wasn't supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we have this thing about ownership where
Mm-hmm.
when we're in a relationship, we think we own the other person.
Mm.
They're ours,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they can never do anything outside of, what we want them to do or what we believe they
Mm.
can do,
Mm-hmm.
those types of things. But when we let that go and not have to police what our partners do all the time
Mm.
or who they're trying to be, we can release and let that person go. If they decide they want to leave the relationship, we can
Mm.
be okay with that.
Mm.
For my growth and for my sanity and for my whatever, for my health, whatever the reason is, I want to leave this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
The other person should be able to go, this saddens me. I thought we had a future together, or whatever the case may be. However, I understand that you have to do what you need to do for you.
Mm.
And
Okay.
I think if we had that attitude, breakups wouldn't be so hard.
Mm.
People would actually come to the person and say, this is what I'm having a problem with,
Mm.
instead of letting the problem linger and linger
Mm-hmm.
and linger.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a breakup because you're done at that point. You've gotten to the done,
Mm-hmm.
part. And you're like, I don't care what you say. I'm just not, I don't even care if you want to change. I just don't want to do this anymore.
Mm.
Right.
Mm.
So yeah, I kind of went off on a tangent there just because
Oh,
I want
please.
people to understand that the way that we look at relationships
Mm-hmm.
um, is really hurting us more than it is helping us at
Mm.
this point. We have to learn how to get into a different space in our relationships so that they can be healthy and
Mm.
that they can thrive and be successful. Um, they can be not what we want them to be, but what they need to be. in order for
Mm,
us to grow,
mm,
right? Because relationships are all about growth, no matter what type of relationship it is, right? A friendship,
mm,
a co-worker, a boss, a cousin, a family member, right? Our parents, those relationships are there to help us grow.
mm,
And if we're not taking the opportunity to actually grow from those relationships, right? Then what are we
mm,
doing?
mm.
Why are we in them?
Right.
It's not just there for us to have self gratification. It's there for us to give, to take, to, and to ultimately grow. But when you're in a situation where you're trying to move on from something,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people say, well, it just takes time. Well, my whole thing is with time, what are you doing in that time?
Mm-hmm.
Because someone can, 5 years can go by and they can be just as bitter and brittle, right?
Mm. Talk about it.
And unchanged,
Mm,
right? And unhealed.
mm.
However, if within that time they're reading their self-help books, they're focusing on themselves, they're healing internally,
Therapy. Mm,
exactly, they're going to therapy, they're bringing themselves back to their, foundation of faith, right? Those types of things.
mm,
Doing those things in that time will
mm,
then help you heal,
mm,
right? But time can go by,
mm-hmm.
waste time, right? We can waste time not doing the things that we need to do in order to be better for not
Right.
only ourselves, but the next person.
And the funny thing about time is everybody feels like they know what the next person should do as far as time. Like they should like, oh well, this person moved on fast, or this person's taking too long,
Mm,
right? And it's just to me, it's like you can't tell a person when they're healed and when they're not, because everybody's situation is different. Yes, it might take somebody 5 years to heal, right? And that's their right to
mhm,
take their time to do it. It might take somebody 5 months. Why? Because their situation might have been, I've been checked out a long time ago
mhm.
mentally. I've been waiting to get free, freed up. And they've been waiting to get to freedom. And then when they finally have gotten it, they may have already been like already on a wave of like, I'm moving forward.
Yeah,
Like I've been to therapy, I've done the work, I've done the things that I've needed to do. I don't need 5 years to start again. I'm ready to go right now. It all depends on everybody's situation is completely different, right? And everybody's time should be respected because you don't know their situation. So if it takes somebody 5, 6 years to finally be whole, let them take their time. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? If it takes somebody 5, 6 months, that's their time as well. And they're perfectly within their right to live their life.
right,
You know what I'm saying? But everybody just seems to have an opinion on what they think that the other person should be doing. And you should be whole by now. You shouldn't be whole by now. You should wait. You should,
right.
it's like, hey, like everybody's situation is completely different and it just should be respected.
Yes.
Um, so when it comes to, finally, a person's healed, right? Like, they finally think that they're ready to kind of get back out there, right? What are some of the things, from a dating perspective, right, that you think, where somebody can start? Like, because it could be traumatic too. That's the one thing is sometimes you might think you're healed with stuff, but you've never been challenged with stuff.
Mhm,
So it's like, it's somebody who's in sports, somebody breaks their ankle or something like that. And it's like, man, then they rehab, it heals, right? Now it's like, oh yeah, this is good. I'm ready to go hit that field or hit that court. I'm ready to go. And then you hit the court, and all of a sudden the fear. It's like,
mhm.
yo, wait a minute. I haven't played contact sports since this. I see a guy running at me, or I'm on the court with somebody. I don't know if I can dunk anymore. If I dunk, what if I land up? What if I land on my ankle again? If
Right.
my ankle, like you start second guessing yourself a little bit now because it's just like, oh, wait a minute. Now I'm back in the game. The game is different. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're in real time versus you just been practicing and healing up. You haven't really been in the game, but now you're back in the
Right.
game, and now you're like, whoa, wait a minute. And that stuff can bring triggers and things back, and you're like, but I thought, and so, but where should at least somebody start? to begin, once they feel like they're ready to get out there and then get back in the game?
Well, one of the things you said was practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're getting out there, it's not, I tell those who have come from a divorce and now ready to get back into dating.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a rush thing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to, be with the first person that comes along and gives you any attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going out there to test the waters. You're going back in there to see how things really the same, or have they changed? Or you know what I mean? Right? You have all these horror stories in your head that you done read on social media about
Mm-hmm.
dating world and
The
all of these
apps and
things,
this.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And how terrible it is. Um, but like anything, if you don't put yourself in it, put yourself into that situation, you're not gonna know if you're healed or not. You're
Mm,
not gonna know if you're ready to push through, or if I'm just not ready yet, right?
right.
One thing I will say is that you're ready when you say you're ready.
Fact.
Okay.
Say that
When
one more
you
time,
when,
please.
when
One
you
more time.
decide that you are ready and you say I'm ready, you're ready.
I love it.
Because we're always going to have some type of traumatic situation that we're trying to work through. And the only way to work through it is to go through it.
The
So if
only way
you
to
have
work through it is to go through it. I love it.
in this particular situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a fear that your partner is going to cheat on you, well, you're always going to have that fear. You're going to have to work through that.
Mm,
Right? You're going to have to learn to trust someone again. And the only way that you can learn to trust is actually be in a situation where you have to trust someone.
exactly.
Right. So going out to, singles events, going out into the public, right? Doing a little flirting without anything behind it, right? I'm
Mm,
not trying to take
mm.
you home. I'm just trying to,
No nightcaps,
all
please.
right.
Ease
I'm
your
just
way.
You're right. I'm just trying to, like the Tin Man, I'm just trying to loosen up. I'm trying to put
Mm-hmm.
more oil in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to just test out my legs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, not with any intention of hooking up with anybody or trying to, score or any of those things, but just being in a position where you're open to conversation.
Mm, mm.
You're looking to, start conversations with people where you're able to mingle
Mm-hmm.
and be comfortable inside of your own skin. Because if you've been with somebody for a very long time,
Mm.
sometimes 20, 30 years, if you've been with somebody since high school and, now you're in your 40s,
Mm.
it's hard to get used to other people in the sense of they want to get close to you,
Mm.
right? In that manner. So just
Mm.
being able to go out and just be you, be your authentic self and not worry
Mm.
about, they're going to like me or they're not going to like me or whatever. Psh, no one cares about that, right? Just be you, because you're not out there to bag someone, right? You're not out there to pick up the first person that comes along. You're out there, like I said, you're the Tin Man. You're just trying to oil. You're like a baby,
Trying to
what,
walk again.
a deer, right?
Yeah.
Baby deer just trying to walk.
Mm-hmm. They wobbly out here.
Yeah,
They
you
wobbly
wobbly
out
out on
there.
these streets.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be wobbly and somebody come. This is what we do a lot when we get out of relationships. We're wobbly, and then the first statue that comes along, we leaning on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we think that that statue is supposed to keep us up
Mm-hmm.
instead of us continuing on,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that statue will be that first person, and we're just gonna go with the first person that gives us any attention so that we'll have someone to lean on. And
Mm-hmm.
then we never really learn how to fully walk on our own,
Mm-hmm.
right?
100%. Sometimes you gotta test the waters. You gotta date a little bit. And again, it doesn't mean like it has to be like a bunch. You could date here and there. Like get your feet wet. You know what I mean? Get yourself back in the game. Get your confidence back up. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Also, like where it's just like, oh, like okay, I still got out here in these streets. I could
Mm-hmm.
put on a jersey, step beside the
Yeah.
booth. Superman's alive. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah.
And that's a confidence booster too, because when you go through a relationship, depending on which end you're on, if you go through like rejection and abandonment and certain things like that, your confidence could be shaken a little bit. right? And then it's just
A
like,
lot of it.
yeah,
Right?
and it's just you might be like, oh, nobody wants me, or if I get with somebody, they might reject me or abandon me just like everybody else, right? And I think so getting that confidence back, where people can see you,
Hmm.
oh, this person sees me, like she's I'm out here, I'm on this solo date right now. I got a little cocktail, what I'm saying, I'm at the bar, he's checking me out, she's checking me out, whatever it is, and it's just like, oh, okay, like you feel it now, you start to feel like, okay, like I like me, like I
Yes.
like me again, right?
Yes.
Sometimes it's not about the other person liking you, it's about sometimes you getting that confidence back and you liking yourself again.
Right.
um so let's split it up. So women, um this is always a topic of conversation. It is a
Okay.
hot one. Should a woman shoot their shot? Because the Bible says, he who findeth a wife, right? I see it all over social media. I know that back and forth, right? And women, they throw this out there all the time, right? As to the reason why they will never shoot their shot, because it says in the good book that she has to be found,
Mm.
right? So, what would you say to women, right, in the dating world? Should they shoot their shot, or should they just say, no, let me be found?
Mm. Well, you can't be found on your couch. So where are you out and about to be found?
Mm,
So a lot of times women will, um, this is what I find. I talk a lot to women about femininity
mm,
and how this generation has kind of lost their femininity, right?
mhm,
Not in the sense of the way they dress or their hair or their lashes, the nails, they got that going on, right?
mhm,
But how to use their femininity to their advantage,
mm,
especially when it comes to men.
mm.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So it's the art of seduction.
That's what Usher says.
Yeah.
Seduction. Oh,
It is
yeah.
it is really the art of seduction.
Mm,
So how do I get a man to notice me
mm,
if I don't want to approach him? If I
mm,
do want him to approach me?
mhm,
So are you in that man's eyesight? You
mm,
can't, I mean, you can't be over here staring a man down
mhm,
from across the room and
mhm,
he doesn't even notice that you're there.
mm.
So
Yeah,
what are you doing? Are you
came back
crossing
this.
the path? Are you exactly.
What's up?
Yeah, it's a mind
Oh,
thing,
damn.
right? So how were you crossing his path? How are you
Mhm,
in contact with him so that he can even notice that you're even there? So
mhm,
I think
mhm,
that women have lost that a little bit in this day and age,
mm,
that they're unaware of how to use who they are and what they are and what they
mm.
have. And I'm not talking about have your breast all out, right? I'm not talking about, bend over all in front of him and, be
I mean,
I mean, you
no,
can
I'm
do
just kidding.
that, but if you truly want to get noticed, but
I might
it's
attract the wrong type of attention, but I mean,
right.
to each song. But yes.
Because you want him to think a certain way about you when he does
Hmm.
meet you, right? And you
Hmm.
want him to approach you in a certain way, right?
Absolutely.
So you have to be very careful about how you're presenting yourself in that manner.
100%.
Um, Absolutely. And, we're not even going to go with the, well, he should be, respectful to me because blah, blah, blah. Listen, it's what you present.
Ooh.
Let's not even go there.
Like you said, I ain't gonna say it. They gonna
What are
cancel
you
me.
presenting? Right? What someone should do in our society and what we've been conditioned to do is
Hmm.
two different things. And you have to know the difference.
Mm.
No, something should not happen.
Hmm.
However, because we've been conditioned by TV,
Mm.
by upbringing, by whatever,
Mm.
this is the way people think. And
Mm.
so you have to be smart and think ahead,
Mm.
right? So that you can position yourself properly.
Mm.
So for those women that don't want to approach a man, which is nothing wrong with shooting your shot, there's a way that you do it, right? You
Hmm.
most definitely can send a man a drink. They actually like that.
That's another can of worms that you don't want to open, Alicia.
You
I'm
can,
just being honest with you. That's a whole nother can of
yeah,
worms you opening right
listen,
there.
listen, you can most definitely, go up to a man and introduce yourself. You don't have to ask him for his number, and you don't have to present yours. You can simply have a conversation with him. You
Mm.
can ask a man if he's single.
That's how you firsthand
That's
that's some of
that's
the
an
most sexy stuff.
indication.
That's like one of the most attractive things that I think
Yeah.
like that can happen. Sometimes
So a lot of
it's yeah, good.
yeah, a lot of times women think if they approach a man, they're being the aggressor
Right.
or they're being aggressive. No. You don't have to be aggressive to
No.
approach someone and have a conversation with them.
You can be real feminine and approaching, and it's like, ooh, okay. It's not like you're saying, yo, shorty, what up? Yo, what's your name? What's up,
Right.
shorty? Like, yo, let me get your number. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Or that
that's a
you
different, that's aggressive. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like,
Or that
hey,
you have to push up on a man in
yeah,
order for him to notice you.
yeah,
And that isn't the thing, right?
right.
So a simple, people don't think it works, but it does. Hi, my name is.
Simple.
I saw
Keep
you
it
from
simple.
across the room over there, and I thought I'd come by and introduce myself. Like that's simple, but at the same time, it gets you noticed, right? And then you're asking certain questions. If you're
Mm.
not asking a man for his number, are you single? Right? Do you like to go out to such and such place sometime?
Mm-hmm.
You know, those types of questions uh get him to understand where you're coming from. Now, at the end of the conversation, if he still has not asked you for your number or he still has not any of that, then you can come out and say, I would love to, I would love it if you would invite me out one day. That's putting the ball in his court, period.
Mm-hmm.
And he
But
can say yes or
you know
no.
what comes along with that, Alicia? You know what
I'm just
comes
saying,
along with that. If that would
women
be
in
a
this rejection
rejection.
thing, women in this
Exactly.
rejection thing for me is like,
They want to be the rejector. They don't want to be the rejectee.
but
That
they've
is the
been
fact.
rejected. They've been rejected in so many ways. What's different with this? It's not.
Well, it is because I think it does stem from he's supposed to be the one to approach me, to find me, to do this for me. Like it's that thing, right? Where I don't want to put myself out there. He's supposed to find me, right? And he's supposed to approach me. I'm not gonna send a man no drink. He's supposed to buy me the drink. He's the
Mm.
man. You know how that works.
That's that chase mentality, right? So this is what I say about women who want to be chased.
Mm-mm. I don't chase him.
So if you want to be chased, you have to ask yourself why. Do you actually want to be caught? So when
Mm.
someone is yeah, so when a man is chasing you and he gets you,
Mhm.
the thrill is gone. You've played all the games. You've done the seduction with them. You've done all of those things. And then once he gets you, then what? There has to be something else. There has to be some type of substance there. There has to be something else there that's going to keep him. Correct? There has to be.
Fact.
So it's a science to this dating thing. And
Mm.
that's why I'm the dating mechanic, because there's the
Ooh, talk
science to
that
this
talk,
dating
talk that
thing
talk. I love
that
it.
that people are unaware of. And
Mm-hmm.
if they can just tweak what they're doing just a little bit by asking the right questions and knowing and understanding how to read a room, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the biggest thing that singles don't do is read a room, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they can understand that and then
Mm-hmm.
integrate themselves into that room, understanding their own energy and
Mm-hmm.
their own, for women, understanding their own femininity, so
Mm-hmm.
that they can use that in their situations and to their advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Hey man, you spitting this knowledge right now. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because as soon as if a man says it, oh, it's not wrong with a woman buying us a drink. Oh, you must be broke. And it's like, wow, like how do we go from that to like left?
How did
Like,
we get
like how do we go from that? Like if I say it's nice if a woman buys you a drink, like at first it's like, oh, where they do that at? Then we like you must be broke. And it's just like, man, like what if I like what? Like what if I just like, if a woman comes approaches you and buys you a drink and starts talking to you, you like, oh, like okay, like and I don't mean like, yo, what up? You know what I mean? Let me
Mhm.
get them digits, son. Like that's not what
Right,
I'm saying,
right.
you know what I'm saying? But like that's sexy too. And it's
Correct.
like we've got to get rid of this notion that men don't like to be, I don't know, like, I'm not gonna say courted. That's not what I'm gonna say. But what I'm gonna say
Mhm.
is like treated. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I noticed you too. And it's like, oh, okay, like you noticed me? Dope. Like
Right.
for once, thank you for noticing me. And now let me
Correct.
notice you. And now I want to find out more about you.
That's
Because
right.
now it's like, ooh, like you got my attention. And now you know what? Maybe I found a wife. Like maybe I found, and
Mhm.
maybe I need to find out more about her so that maybe she could be my wife. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's very literal. He who findeth
Mhm.
a wife. It's just like, okay, so he has to now approach me in every single. It's like this is
That's not it.
2022. Like you can shoot your shot too. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? And to be honest, if I'm being completely honest, and this may not be popular, Alicia, but like this ain't back in the day. Back in the day, a lot of people didn't have no money. Like women, you know what I mean? They weren't allowed to work in certain areas. Like, so when they went to the club, guess what? Guess who had to buy them a drink?
That's right.
Man, right? Like, that's just the way it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? But now we're people making women out here making a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? And which they should. They got the investments. They're killing the game out here, which is
Killing it.
absolutely
Killing
amazing.
it.
Owning businesses,
Yes.
like getting high positions, like I mean, running Fortune 500. I mean, just amazing, right? There's growth there, right? And that's amazing. But like now it's like, oh, if I send him a drink, now I'm going to look at him like he's less than a man, right? And it's
Right.
just like, but like, what if that one drink you sent him, right? Now, what if you never have to pay for another drink for the rest of your life? How about that?
And a lot of times,
Or whatever it is.
yeah, and a lot of times, a gentleman
Mm-hmm.
will go ahead and pay for those drinks. He'll pay for
Mm-hmm.
your drinks. He'll pay for, you understand what I'm saying? And not, I think a lot of times what gets in the way of women being successful in dating is that their expectations
Mm.
get them into trouble, right?
Continue.
Yeah. So, a lot of times ladies have these expectations of men.
Mm.
Um, and it messes dating all up, right?
Mm-hmm.
For them, because now this day and age, men are getting a little bit smarter when it comes to dating, when it comes to their money,
Mm.
and those types of things. And they're not spending $200 on a dinner.
Mm.
They're
Mm.
not doing those things. They're making sure that they're spending time with someone who actually is genuinely interested in them. Right. So that's one of the things that I do teach men that women don't like is that I let them know that your first couple of dates should not be expensive dates. You should,
Mm.
you should be working your way up. If you start off with $200 dates, where are you going from there?
All the way up.
Now if you're a millionaire and you got it like that,
Yeah.
so be it.
Mm-hmm.
Go all out. But we're talking about the average Joe,
Right.
right? And the average Joe spending $200, you know, on every single date that you go on is not going to work.
Mm.
Okay. So, like I said, once again, I talk about things that people don't like, but you should have a dating budget.
Mm.
What is your dating budget? Is it
Mm.
$200 for the month? Is it $400 for the month? Because that lets me know you're a good steward of your money.
How does that work though, Alicia? Like, let's be honest and let's be clear about this. You may be teaching men this, right?
Mhm.
But when it comes to women, you are on social media heavy. You know
Mhm.
what's in the comments. You see what's being talked about with men. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
I see him all the time. He's broke. He can't afford to fly me out. If I gotta pay for my vacation, I might as well go by myself. If he can't fly me out, then he's broke, and then he shouldn't be dating. You know what I'm saying? And that's because they say there are men out there that would pay for my vacation and take me on trips and do all this stuff and fly me out in the even in the dating phase.
Mhm.
So there's this additional, call it what it is, pressure for
Mhm.
men to always spend, right? And take them on trips, fly them out. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. Fly, he gotta fly me out, and do all these things. And if he can't do it, he's broke.
Right.
So when you talk about dating budget, you telling men to have dating budgets. Like, let's be honest, like they talking about dating budget, dating budget with a woman. Like a lot of times, not all, but for a lot, like they the ones that's gonna be talked about in these comments. Crazy.
Yeah. And this is where men have to change the atmosphere. They
Mm,
have control over that, right?
mm-hmm.
So I talk about, and I'm always posting, even if you go on, YouTube or Instagram, I'm always TikTok, I'm always posting about great date ideas.
Follow
That's
and
my whole
subscribe.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my whole thing right there. So, I talk about the ice cream date, but it's not just the regular old ice cream date, it's the sweet spot where you have, you in the igloo, or, you're swinging on the swing and eating ice cream. And it's,
Mm-hmm.
different experiences. Um, I even have some crazy things for pet lovers, like what was it, the cat place where you go and you can pet cats, and it's like this lounge, and you get to yeah, you get to drink and pet cats, and it's called Cat Cafe, and there's no food
Mm-hmm.
there, but you can actually go there and pet cats, and it's like cheap.
Wow.
um Laser tag.
They
Laser
got
tag
they
is
got one
for
for dogs.
not that I've seen,
No,
but
that's
trust me,
crazy.
I will check it out. You got laser tag, and you got pool, and you got, miniature golf, $11 for miniature golf. Like, if you can't find some things to do that don't break your pocket,
No, you
the
can
whole
find
point.
stuff to do,
Oh, there's plenty of things to
but
do. So,
you gotta find a woman that's really gonna appreciate that too, though,
but a woman is always
because you
saying,
be in, you see the comments, Alicia. You know it's
yeah, but a
crazy
woman
every
is always telling a man, be creative.
Mm-hmm.
So if they say, if a man says, okay, I want to take you out, and guess what we're going to do today? We're going to go miniature golfing. Like, no
Mm,
woman will turn that down. You know what I mean? Like, let's go out, and they're not going to turn it down, because um, you have taken the initiative. And a lot of women want to see the men lead, as they say, and
mm-hmm.
take the initiative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plan something,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
If you took a woman out on a picnic, she's not going to say no to that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You've prepared this for her, and she feels valued. She
Mm-hmm.
feels like you've taken the time to do those things for her specifically, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I love
I
creative
think it's,
dates. I think
yes, I
those are
think
the
it's,
best. Like honestly, and this is, listen, it's not about, full disclaimer, it's not about being broke, but some of the best dates are like the cheapest dates, or it's the dates that
absolutely.
like you just are out walking and talking, or like you guys are just doing like just regular
Mhm.
stuff. Like there's something about those dates, that those are the ones that to me are the most memorable, right? And it's
It's
just
the
like, man,
connection. It's the
yeah, for
intimacy,
sure.
right? It's the intimacy. It's the connection. It's the
Talk
energy.
that talk. Get that plug
Right?
in, that
It's the
ice, that
ice,
ice.
right? So this is what we're all yearning for, and we're all
Mm,
craving it, and we're thinking that money is going to get us to it. And
mm,
that's not even part of it. You can take me
mm.
to a fancy dinner, and the conversation can be whack.
Trash.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, or you're not talking at all. Like, I'm
Mm,
just like honestly, like I said, I tell men, going on a dinner date or an expensive dinner date is really not the way to go. You have the waitress coming every 5 minutes to see how you're doing. It's like so many things happening and going on. It's not what you want. Just like you don't go to the movies for a first date. How are you going to
mm,
talk? You don't go to a
mm,
concert. How are you going to talk and connect with somebody if there's loud music going on? If you're in stereo sound, you're not going to be able to do that. So your simplest dates are the ones that's going to help you connect with the person to see if you even want to date further. That first date should be so simple. Let's walk in the park. Let's go have coffee. Let's go have a cupcake somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So that you can be able to ask the questions that you really need to ask in
mm,
order to see if that person is even compatible. Like, why are we going on 5 and 6 and 7 dates
mm.
when I can tell you in one whether
Ooh.
you're interesting enough to me? You know what I mean? I can have a conversation. I want singles to get to the point where they can have a conversation on the phone with someone, not text. Let me be
Yeah.
clear. They can have a conversation on the
Mm-hmm.
phone with someone and say, okay, I want to see if I have some physical chemistry with that person, or they're not my cup of tea. They
Mm,
don't have the things in line that I would want in a mate.
Mm.
So I have a book out. It's called 7 Key Questions to Ask on a First Date. You can
Mm.
find that on Amazon, or you can find it on my website.
Go cop
And
that.
it actually takes you through the 7 key questions that you should be asking someone.
Mm.
You really should be asking these questions before you even accept a date with someone. However,
Mm.
I understand that people want to, be in person, or they want to see if they have any chemistry, which, by the
Mm-hmm.
way, chemistry is just attraction and, physical. Do you make my heart beat?
Mm.
Do you give me the chills? Do you give me the butterflies? Do you get
Yeah.
that's that chemistry.
Ooh wee.
And,
Yeah. Like
it's
when I
a
see you.
right. It's a chemical reaction within the body,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I want daters to be very clear on that and what
Mm-hmm.
chemistry really is when you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
wanting to see someone and see if we have chemistry. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's what that is. Because
I want to get back to that in a second,
because you can
but yeah.
definitely, yeah, because you can definitely know if you have chemistry with someone over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So now what you're
Mm-hmm.
doing is you're trying to see if I'm attracted to that person, right? Do they give me the jigglies,
Mm-hmm.
butterflies? And you can get butterflies over the phone, let me tell you.
Mm. I
Been there,
know.
done that.
Oh, I know.
Been
Lord
there, done
knows I
that.
know.
Right.
You can get some other things up. Never mind. Um, we'll
Been
leave
there,
that
done
alone.
that. So,
Yeah.
oh yeah, but like I said, those 7 questions are going to allow you to understand who that person is, so that, listen, you're not the person for me. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Or no,
Mm.
I'd like to hear more. Let's get up in person and see. There's also certain dates you should be going on. So you
Mm-hmm.
should be having the conversation dates, but then you should be having dates to see what type of problems, what type of how they solve problems,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
There's 2 specific dates that I tell singles to go on, premarital couples to go on, actually. Um, go on a paddle boat or a rowboat. How do you guys work together? Have you ever been on a paddle boat? First of all,
Me? No, no.
okay, let me tell you.
No. Look, I cannot
Listen,
swim. I'm good. Like you gotta catch
they
me.
give you
Is there
life
any
jackets,
other dates you got for me? Because I can't.
bruh,
Me in the water. You just.
bruh.
I don't know
Telling you,
what to tell you about that one. There's got to be another thing that we
bruh,
can do because you're gonna find me on the news. Queens boy born and raised in Queens was tragically
promise
found
you,
at the bottom of
I
the river.
promise
Like, you know
you.
what I'm saying? Like, and then I'm be like, Alicia Bennett told me to go on this
To
paddle boat,
do this,
and now I am no longer here. If I'm missing, please blame her, please.
but no, they give you life jackets and everything. It's a whole process, right?
Do they
But
make you sign a waiver?
I believe that they do, but
I know. Yep, I'm good. I'm good. I am a-okay. I am good. Is there anything else that we got without the waivers? Because if I'm gone, I'm
but
gone. There's not going to be another date if I'm gone.
but actually getting in that paddle boat is an experience,
I'm
because
sure it is.
both people have to paddle their legs
Mm-hmm.
in they have to be in sync, right?
Mm-hmm.
In order to get to the other side of the river and to get back,
Can we
right?
just go to
That's
dancing
work
class
together.
and be in sync? Like we can try that. Can we? Like we can go to dancing
Can't
class.
try that. That's more coordination, right? However, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a learned skill, right?
Mm-hmm.
But however, what about what do you call those, escape rooms, right?
Yes,
How
we
well
can
do,
do that.
and by the way, they make you sign a waiver on that too, just to let you know. But
For what? What's the waiver for?
it's the waiver. You just got to, you get scared, you have a heart attack. I don't know.
Mm.
You know,
Mm.
insurance,
All right.
insurance things.
I'll take my chances
But
with the escape room. I think that. Yeah.
I hear you though. Yeah, so how well does that person solve problems? So
Mm-hmm.
there's 4 different types of dates that you should be going on in order to figure out, okay, really, is this the person that's for me? Right. And like I said, that's just one of the categories, being able to say, okay, how well do we work together? Can we solve problems together? Or
Mm.
how does this person solve problems? Do they get
Mm.
frustrated? Do they ask for
Mm.
help? Do they, you know what I mean? Are they someone that just needs to go in the corner and figure it out and then they come back? Like, how do they strategize and how do they work with other people, in a team sense?
Mm.
Because you're going to be a team.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand how your other teammates work and play and, all of those things, and strategize. You have to know that.
I like that. I like that. Please go pick up that book on Amazon, please. And what's the name of the book again?
Well, there's 7 key questions to ask on the first date. And then there's also Dear Future Spouse for our singles.
Mm, two books. Go cop them both, please. She'll change your life. So now I'll get back to chemistry in a second. But when it comes to men now, because there's this thing, men don't get heartbroken at all. No, of course
Mm,
not. No, we never do.
what's that?
We're just cold-blooded killers. We're just out there and that's it, right? So, but for the few men,
Mhm.
right, that do get their heart broken and was looking forward to whatever that relationship was and it ended and they're not in a good place, or they've gone through their emotion stuff and they're at the point that they're ready to go and they're ready to date and start the process, right? What are some of the suggestions that you would give to a man, who's in that position, but who's ready to go ahead and begin that journey for himself?
I mean, I would say that to that man as well.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that you're not out there spending lavishly, right? On just any old women, any all of these women or multiple
Mm-hmm.
women or whatever the
Mm-hmm.
case may be. Before you really dig into your pocket, just make sure that that woman is the one that you want to be spending more quality time with.
Yeah.
Definitely going out and mingle. I would say the same thing. Go out and
Mm-hmm.
mingle. Go out with the boys. If it's a boys' night, go hit on
Mm.
some girls. You know
It's
what I
never
mean?
going to be a problem for the fellas to
Right,
get
right,
together.
right.
You know what I mean?
Actually, actually start some conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, be in a place where you can have a conversation with a woman and not be hitting on her, right? And I
Ooh.
can tell you that that's a turn on for women as well. The harder you resist hitting on her, the more she would be inclined to hit on you.
Mm.
No trick there.
Mm. Okay. Okay. All right. A little reverse psychology on that one. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
especially if you're kind of ignoring her advances at that point, right? You're still engaging with her, but you're kind of ignoring her advances and you're moving past them, or you acknowledge them, but then you're not. It's like a haha. And then,
Mm-hmm.
kind
Mm-hmm.
of go
Mm-hmm.
past that. She's going to stick around just a little bit more because now she's intrigued, she's interested, while you're not
Right.
picking up on her advances, or you're not advancing on her advances, right?
Right. Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so for a guy, and there's no guarantee for this at all, obviously, but what are some of the things that can help a man guard his heart a little bit? Because I think, and I don't mean because men sometimes they got like it's like a wall. It's not even like and that's both men and women, but if a man gets heartbroken once, he's like, I'm done. Like he's like, hey man, I'm all the way good. I'm about to put on the player. I'm about to put on the jersey. I'm about to go play these games because I'm not getting hurt like that no more. Right.
Right.
Like that's the conversations that they be, you have with yourself and you get with the fellas and it's like, yes, yeah, man. Like let's, and it turns into, not really going to pursue women. It's going to in turn kind of a cycle of dating, right? That's more physical than anything else, right? Because
Mhm.
that's the easy part because it doesn't involve your emotions, right?
Mhm.
Too much. So what advice would you give to a man to, yes, still you can guard your heart, right? Absolutely, to a point. But you don't have to put the wall up and then all of a sudden just kind of go out and just in a sense just go crazy, right? And just do what you do, right? And you have a whole bunch of relations with women and stuff like that, which I know for a man that's what you quote unquote that's what you're supposed to do, but in reality that's not really what you're supposed to do, right? You know what I'm saying? And that's why women always ask, so did you get this out your system? You know what I'm saying? Because it's always expected, right, for men to be this thing, right? But a lot of that comes from hurt feelings.
Mhm.
A lot of that comes from there's this expectation again of us to be a certain way,
Mhm.
right? Um, so what advice would you give a man to kind of, yes, still be, guard your heart, protect your heart, especially if you're a good guy, you're a nice guy, and you have intentions of building with a woman, right? Um, Sometimes those things could be taken advantage of too, just like a woman. And, so what advice would you give him as he's on this journey, right? To, to date and to find something real and um but still be, be able to guard his heart a little bit, but not throw up a wall and just go out there and just stop. Wow. Because that happens a lot.
Okay. So you said something that just sums it up. It's the expectation.
Mm,
So they're wilding because it's the expectation. Oh, this is what I'm supposed to do when I get into this situation,
mm,
when I've been hurt, when I'm confused, when I'm, when I feel like I've been wronged. This is how I
mm,
fix that, or how I ignore that, or how I. So remember when I said earlier, we have different vices and we have different ways of coping and dealing
yeah.
and things, and that's one of the things that men do to cope and deal, right? If
Mm,
I get under someone, I can get over them, right? Which is not necessarily true.
oh.
But being able to um, use your head with your heart um, is a better move, right?
Hmm.
So I always ask people,
Fellas, that head up here, please. All right.
yeah,
Be
yeah,
be clear. Be clear.
very clear. Um, so why wouldn't someone want to open their heart to love every chance they get?
Hmm. I agree.
Yeah, like why wouldn't they?
Hmm.
Like we keep ourselves from having experiences
Hmm.
out of fear.
Yep. Hmm.
And we really do ourselves a disservice in that sense.
Mm.
It's okay to love someone
Hmm.
and then it just not work out,
It happens.
right?
You
So
feel
what
the
is
fear and do it anyway.
right? So what really is heartbreak then at that point? Someone that didn't meet your expectations is heartbreak, right? I expected them not to cheat on me and they did. And so my expectations have been broken.
Hmm.
That's simply what it is. So when we put so many expectations out there, we do it to ourselves in a sense. Love who you want to love, open your heart to who you want to open your heart to,
Mm.
and have the experiences, because out of experience comes the growth. Out of experience comes the, how do you know what to do next time
Right.
if you never experience it?
Hmm.
Maybe I shouldn't do that next time. Or maybe I
Hmm.
should do that next time, but not with that person. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So
Exactly.
and in order to do that, we have to use our head with our heart, and we have to be very um a lot of times what singles don't do, they don't make the list, right?
Mm.
What's the list? The list is underrated. You should have a list of things that you desire to have in a relationship,
Okay,
right?
so when you say this list, so
Mhm.
we got to be a little clear about the list because people take this list and it becomes a Christmas list
Yes.
and they live by this list. And it's just like, all right, so let's just say, you don't have this. Oh,
Right.
that. And you like, man, like, how long is your list?
Right.
Like, and do you have that stuff on that list? Like how long is this list? Like, it shouldn't be a grocery list, right? Maybe a
Correct.
list of non-negotiables or like list of things that is important to you, but like people who have lists, please trim the list, please trim it just a smidge
Just
because it's growing a beard. It's too
a.
long, too long out here in the streets.
Well, with the list thing, I would say this. If you can get your list down to 8 to 10 things
Mm-hmm,
that you actually desire for your relationship,
mm-hmm,
you're not you're going to open up your options, right?
mm-hmm,
And you're going to take away a lot of the expectations that we have
mm-hmm.
for other people
Mm.
that um, is really keeping us bound in that relationship.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you have 8 to 10 things that I really, these are my non-negotiables,
Mm-hmm.
right? So people also don't understand that there's a difference between needs and wants. So you have needs, you have wants, and you have non-negotiables, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your non-negotiables, those things that you just can't listen. If this is not in place for me, I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just can't, right? The needs, what do I need daily in
Right.
order to be in this relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then your wants change from minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day. Honey, them wants, them wants that drive you crazy, right?
So what should be on this list? What should be on this list? Now I know it's different for everybody. But should it be the 6'3", tall, dark, and chiseled? Or should it be, I don't know, bachelor's, master's degree? Like, what should be on this list for people? Because I've always been, when it comes to like non-negotiables and certain things, to me, for me, it's um things that I can't teach.
Mm.
Right. What I mean by teach is just there are things that let's just say money, right? Let's say somebody's money's not right, right? Those you can teach financial literacy.
Mm-hmm.
You can,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you can't teach somebody how to respect you. It's
But you
either
can.
no, I don't think you can teach somebody how to respect you.
Yeah.
It's either you respect me or you don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, right? Because if you're just a disrespectful person, right? That's not for me. I'm not going to try to teach you how to respect me. Like to me, there are certain things that are of character. And then there are certain things that, you know what, you can work on to be better with money. You can work on your credit. You can work on just different things if that's your desire. You can absolutely work on those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you just being like a disrespectful person, right? A selfish person, whatever that is, like I can't teach you how to be
So let's say you're
basically.
unwilling to do that. And
Hmm?
there's nothing, let's say you're unwilling to do that.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with that
Hmm.
because everything is teachable, right?
Okay.
Someone who's selfish can be taught to not be selfish. Someone who's disrespectful can be taught to not be disrespectful. However, you're not in the teaching game, is what you're saying. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm in a teaching game for like no. I'm always in a teaching game for certain things.
Right, for certain things.
But to me,
There are some things they
don't
just have
know.
to
I
have.
just don't know. To me, there's certain character things with people
Mhm.
that you cannot teach. Like,
Mm.
unless unless they want to make a change for themselves,
Mhm.
right? Like, if they want to make a change for themselves, that's a different story in it of itself. But a lot of those things are character traits and character flaws that it's just different. Like for me, where
Mhm.
it's just like I can't tell you not to go into a restaurant and disrespect the janitor or disrespect the waitress or the waiter. Like I can't deal with stuff like that for
Mhm.
me because to me that's not teachable. That's who
Mhm.
you are. Like that's
Mhm.
just who you are, right? And for me, it's just if that's who you are as a person, that's just not for me,
Right.
right? Now, am I going to try to spend time and just say, oh, well, you shouldn't do that, or let me show you how you should speak to people? That just sometimes that's a character flaw and that's a character trait. That's just sometimes that's just who they are. Um, you know,
It is who
certain
they
things.
are. It is who they are being, right? But it doesn't mean that they can't change those things. However, I understand that we are not in the changing other people business. So I get that totally, right? There are certain things that you're looking for within a mate. And if they're not already equipped with certain things, you're not willing to deal with those things. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what that non-negotiable, you know, list is for. So a lot of people put on that list, well, I want them to be respectful and kind and generous and this and this and that. But those are foundational things. Like they're literally foundational. Like if you require someone to be of a certain religion,
Mm-hmm.
that's a non-negotiable for you.
Yeah, 100%.
If it's non-negotiable, right? Some
Mm-hmm.
people say, I don't care what the other person is because I'm I'm in my faith and this is how I feel about that, and
Mm-hmm.
on and
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
But if that's a non-negotiable for you, that's pretty important. If you don't want to be with somebody who smokes
Right.
or drinks or has any type of substance, you know, that's a non-negotiable,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But something like kind and generous and those types of things, those are foundational things, and you don't want to be with somebody who is not kind.
Right.
You don't
Right.
want to be with somebody who's not respectful of you.
Right.
So really getting down to what is it that I actually need, or not need, but
Mm-hmm.
what are the things that I actually like, no way, no how.
Mm-hmm.
This is not it. We're talking about things like kids.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want kids? No, I never want kids. Well, then being with somebody who wants kids or perhaps has kids, that's not for you.
Oh my God. I watched this show on Netflix this past weekend called The Ultimatum.
I heard about that.
If you can,
Okay.
watch it. It is the most bingey thing, like show. Like I was sitting there like I just like you just couldn't take your eyes off of it.
Wow.
Like because it and that situation came up with, I'm not gonna give it away, but just that situation came up with a particular couple, and is mind blowing. Just what you try to look past and what you try to force on people, in hopes that they'll change or they'll change their mind, or it's very interesting. And I
Yeah.
tell you, please watch The Ultimatum. Yeah, yeah. It's one of those shows where I'm like, oh man, episode 2, oh, it's episode 3,
Yeah.
episode 4, you are it was like 3 a.m. you sitting here like,
Oh my gosh.
oh God, episode 7. It's just one of those things, man. But yo, like, especially with you being a relationship and dating coach, you gotta watch that show. Like,
Okay.
you just
Okay.
gotta watch it. It's
I
just
will. I'll find it.
madness.
It.
Some of that stuff, Pete, like it really irritated me, but I couldn't take my eyes off it.
Okay. Okay.
And it probably irritates you too, since you're a relationship and dating coach. It's even mind blowing of why would you even bring somebody on that show? Is beyond me. Like the premise. Do you know the premise of it?
No, I just
So
heard of it.
the premise of it is you have couples, right? And one person gives the other person an ultimatum, right? It's either marry me, because it's called the ultimatum. So it's either marry me or we're done, right?
Wow.
So you bring the body, so the person that gave the ultimatum brings the other person, their partner, on the show. And it's with, I think, a few other couples, right? And the premise is, since you've given this ultimatum, now you have about 3 or 4 different couples or whatever the case is, and now you do a dating swap where you have a couple of days where you're trying to figure out who you want to date, right? And it's like so you have to pick one person. So there's other contestants. So there's like 4 other guys, 4 other girls, right? Or whatever the case is. And you pretty much spend a couple of days dating and talking and getting to know other people. So you essentially end your relationship and you start talking to other people, right? And then you have to, because the point of it is to be married, at some point, because that's the ultimatum. It's either you marry me or I'm gone, pretty much, right? So then the crazy thing is, so then the person you pick, you have to spend 3 weeks with them straight living together, to figure out if you want to be with them or you want to be with the person that you came in with, right? And or
This
maybe
sounds like
or
this
maybe
sounds
neither.
like the wife swap or something.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. But it's wild, because then after those 3 weeks, you spend an additional 3 weeks with the person you originally came in with,
Okay.
to see if you can work on your own relationship after you done spent 3 weeks with somebody else. And then afterwards, you make a decision of whether you want to marry the person you realize, whatever you realize through this whole process, or you don't want to be with anybody, or you want to be with the one person. So like when I tell you, yeah,
Yeah.
to just I tell you about this stuff. I have to tell you about the show because
Yeah, I see a lot of broken relationships about them.
it's definitely listen. That thing have your eyes popping out. You like, yo, what? Like, what? I was like, yo, this is crazy. But I digress. You should definitely check that out. And then we should probably do a recap, a show about a recap about the
We
show.
can.
It's madness. So I do like the advice that you would give the guys, and both guys and the girls and things like that. So when it comes, so like you have you got the list, you got everything going, everything is good now. All right, I got the list. Okay, I know what to do on dates now. I could take a woman on a date that costs $25. I'm good. Okay, cool.
Right.
Right. So now let's just say you find somebody that you kind of digging a little bit. You finally broke through that. You've been through the apps, you've been through the crazy stuff, the messages, you've been through all of those things. Okay, cool. So you finally break through and you find somebody, right? But it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
It's a scary thing because it's all fun at first. It's dating. It's like, yeah, cool. We're going here, we're going there, we're taking pics. Everything is love, right? But then at some point you say, yo, I'm starting to have feelings for somebody.
Right.
That's a layer now because sometimes, again, now you're in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, the last time I have, now you have to do that. Last time I had feelings for somebody, like, yo, like you just, ba 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 ba, right? And you start going down that rabbit hole. It's like WebMD. Once you're there, you just start clicking away. And that's what starts to happen in your brain when it comes to the relationships. It starts clicking away. Oh, flashback to this, flashback to that. Oh, I remember when this person said this and that. So it's like, yo, so what would be your best advice for a man or woman to combat that, right? So that they can be present in that particular situation, because that's very important for that person to be present and not comparing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what advice would you give somebody to kind of go through that and stop that, or being able to kind of just relax and go forward?
And I mean, and you said it, you need to be present, right?
Mm,
What does present look like is really the question.
mm,
So if we're being present with someone, we're sharing with
mm-hmm,
them how we feel. Like I'm really uncomfortable right now.
mm,
Can we talk about this?
mm,
So first, inside of yourself, saying, I'm uncomfortable. Why am I uncomfortable?
mm-hmm,
Well, this happened to me in my last relationship. This is kind of going down the same path.
mm,
So then you go and you talk to that person. You know what? I'm really feeling uncomfortable about this. This is what happened in my last relationship. It seems like it's going in that way. You know, what does this mean? What does this mean? How do we get through this
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
if we can?
mm. So a response to that could
Mm-hmm.
could look like, well, it just seems to me that you're comparing me with your ex, right? And maybe it's him that it's him that you're thinking about, right? Instead of giving me a chance and opportunity, maybe you're not over him. Maybe it's things that you need to get over because I'm not him, and you can't treat me as such.
Mm-hmm.
What would your response be to that?
Well, if someone was to say that to me, well, first of all, don't say that to someone
No,
because
right,
because
but I'm saying, but
well, let me tell
sometimes
you
that does
why.
happen, though. That's what I'm saying.
Of course, and let me
Mm-hmm,
tell you why you shouldn't say that. Right? You shouldn't say that because everybody is going through something. Someone
mm-hmm,
has a reference about something that has happened to them,
mm-hmm,
which is why they're having a traumatic or a trauma response to it.
mm-hmm.
Some type of stress response is because they've been through something. It
Right.
doesn't mean that they're still in love with the other person. It doesn't mean that they're, it just means that this is familiar to them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And what's familiar to them, this is how it ended.
mm-hmm,
And so they don't want to have those feelings again.
mm-hmm,
And so they're trying to protect and guard their heart in that sense, right?
mm-hmm,
So they want to be reaffirmed, reassured, whatever, right? That
mm-hmm,
they're not going down that same path.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what we want to be able to do is, if we're on the receiving end of that, listen to that person. Well, what happened in your other relationship that feels the same?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this person did blah, 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 and this is the situation that happened. And so, and then being able to say, okay, am I doing those things?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or, really having that conversation, because sometimes we have to just say to that person, but is that happening now?
Mm-hmm.
For them to say, okay, well, it's not happening. Right. And
Mm-hmm.
not internalizing that. So internalizing would be, oh, well, you don't like me, or oh, you're treating me like that person, or oh, stop internalizing it.
Mm-hmm.
Let that person work through their stuff so that they can be a better person, period. And not
Right.
even a better person for you, so that they can be a better person, because
Yeah.
this is what relationships are about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to work my stuff out with someone, right? Because that's really the only way that I can do it, is to actually
Mm-hmm.
work my stuff out with
Mm-hmm.
someone so
Mm-hmm.
that I can grow, and that person can grow and be a better person.
And so, okay, so full disclaimer for everybody who's listening right now, I'm not saying that should be said. I'm giving real life scenarios so I can get this out so we can know how to communicate with each other. These
All
aren't
right.
the views of me. I'm just saying this type of stuff happens. This type of communication and banter happens between two people because you have one triggered person, um, that in turn will start to trigger the other person, and the
Mhm.
other person's like, wait a minute, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are you why are you doing that? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then it becomes that kind of banter, right? And then it's just like, well, you know what? If you're not healed, then you shouldn't have been in the relationship in the first place. You shouldn't be here.
Mhm.
If like, but I know I'm saying this type of
Oh
stuff,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Oh
And
yeah.
so, and it's true, right? It happens. The banter happens, and it's just like, well, if you weren't ready for this, or like, or if you weren't, you know what I mean? Like, if you still having PTSD from your past, like, why are you here? Right? Like, why are you here? Like, why didn't you sort your stuff out before?
Mhm.
And sometimes, again, that's not the right way to go either, because you got to learn to give people grace and space to grow. Right. And
That's it.
now look, if somebody is continuously
Hmm.
just on this thing about X, my ex,
Right.
then you might have a problem. Then you
Right.
might have to, then at that point you may have to say, all right, maybe this isn't the right thing for you at this point,
Hmm.
right? Like, and maybe we need to just take a step back,
Hmm.
um, before we proceed, because you're continuously doing this, and
Hmm.
it's making me now uncomfortable because I don't know my place here. I've been patient with you. I've tried to support you in this, but everything has been about your past instead of your
Yeah.
future. Right. So
Yeah.
I think, you know,
And everybody has a right to do that. If it's not
right,
working for you, it's not working for you.
right, right,
Don't say
right.
it's not working. I just wanted to, when someone approaches that type of situation
Mm-hmm.
and they're confronted with, I'm having these feelings, they want to you should be able to share it with that person.
Yes.
If you're having the issue, you should be able to say something to the person so that they're aware of why you're acting a certain way, why you're reacting a certain way. You could be clamming up about a situation. You could be not wanting to move forward on a certain thing, and they
Yeah.
don't understand why.
Right.
Let them in.
Mm. Let them in.
Let them in so that they're able to help you through the thing.
Right.
Because
Mm-hmm.
the reassurance could be the thing that you need.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
understanding, right? The talking it through, the actual, when that person says, okay, am I doing those things?
Mm.
And they realize that you're not doing those things
Mm.
that was in the other situation, or that the other person was doing, that eases their mind.
Mm.
Oh, well, yeah, no, you don't do this. Well, you're
Mm.
not this person. Or
Right.
those are not your characteristics.
Mm.
Hey, I'm good now. You know what I mean?
Facts. Facts.
I can move on. I'm good now. But if you can't share those things with the person that you're with, that's a sign that there's some trust issues there. There's some,
Mm.
you know, and it may not be that you don't trust them. Could be that you don't trust yourself. Because a
Ooh.
lot of times when we don't trust our own self, we put things and obstacles in the way and we say it's other people and other things but it's really that you don't trust yourself.
Mm.
And so
Wow.
and then that goes into sabotage, right? Sabotage
Ooh,
the relationship,
self-sabotage is ooh.
right? Because you don't trust yourself to pick a good guy. Because you don't
Mm-hmm.
trust yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I picked all of these bad people in the past, so I don't really trust myself to. So now everybody's a bad guy,
Mm. Mm.
right?
Talk
All
about it.
guys are the same,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be, right?
Mm.
But we have to be able to look inside self and say, okay, self, what's going on here? Why am
Right.
I being triggered by this thing? Why am I, having this response? Why?
Mm.
Right? To get down to the nitty gritty.
Mm.
And if you are having trouble with it, it's okay to work out your stuff. Like I said before, it has to be tested. It has to be, am I really over the thing?
Mm.
Right? You're not going to
Mm-hmm.
know that until that opportunity comes up for you to actually test the thing.
Mm.
Right?
I like it. You got to be able to test it
You
and
gotta
test
be
yourself. You got to be able to test yourself and get your feet wet, get yourself back in the game and
that-
allow yourself to feel and to experience, because not everything is gonna end the same way. You know what I'm saying? You might be afraid of one type of ending and then it could end a totally different way.
and if
Um,
it does,
mhm,
that's okay. We have to get to a place where relationships can end
mm,
and we not feel like it's the end of the world.
mm,
And that
mm,
you cannot get back out there and explore again because all I'm gonna do is get hurt again. All I'm gonna do is change who you are, change what you're doing, change who you're being, change who you're choosing,
mhm.
it's this root. It's like a Rubik cube, right?
Yep.
And you're trying to change and make it roll this way and that way and backwards and forwards until you get everything all lined up.
Mm,
You can't do that if you're not continually dating. You can't do that if you get out of one relationship and it went bad and sour or whatever, and then I'm not gonna ever do this again. Like how does
yeah. Yeah, but I feel like we're it's two left sometimes and two right. It's like we're too extreme one way, and then we're too extreme the other way. So then it's just like you got the people who like you said just now, where it's just like, oh, I'll never find this, or I never, and then you have the people who go, I don't even care no more. You know what I'm saying? If it don't work out, don't work out, whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's cool, like whatever. And it's just like it's like there's no balance. It's like you either
yes,
go left and where it's just like I'm scared of everything, or you go right and it's just like I don't care about nothing. Like
yeah,
he or she left me up before. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I've taken loss. You know what I mean? I've done that. You know what I mean? So now you meet somebody new and it's like, well, if you come, you go, whatever. Then another person,
I would
other
not
person
care. Like,
well, I
oh,
mean,
hang on a minute.
hey,
Right,
whoa.
right,
And then it's just like that becomes that aggression where it's just like you come off where it's just like I don't care. You know what I'm saying? You can come, you can go. Last one did.
yeah,
You're like, whoa, hey man, I ain't say I was leaving. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
I just want to get to know you, baby. You know what I'm saying? Hey, hold on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we we either like two left or two right, and there's no
Yeah,
balance of just like it's either the end of the world or I absolutely don't care.
yeah,
And most of the time you do care, but you're putting on this facade. All right, like as if to say, like, I don't care, you know what I mean? Like whatever. But it's like, nah, you really do. Like if this person were to really get up and bounce, you'd feel a way about that.
well, I mean, and it's in both of those situations, it's hurt people, right?
And hurt people,
Hurt.
hurt people.
So it's their way of not having to feel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to shelter myself either
Mm-hmm.
way it goes, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to shelter myself by closing my heart and putting up a wall, or I'm going to shelter myself by closing up my heart and putting up a wall. You know what I mean? It's like it's the same thing. It just looks different.
Man, oh man. And I mean, this could be a conversation for another day. Maybe it will. But don't be afraid to, sometimes find somebody out of state, maybe, find somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Don't be, don't always keep yourself, in your radius. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you travel and you meet somebody, that's dope.
Hmm.
See where it can go. You just
And
never
we
know.
and we both have that experience, right?
Yes, don't block your blessings. Don't block your blessings. You know what I'm saying? Because you could shut
Yeah.
somebody down, and then next thing you know, that could have been a person for you. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Like you just never know. You know what I'm saying? If you try the dating apps and you try all this stuff, and you know what I mean, like shoot, you meet somebody from out of town, try it out. And yes, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But here's the thing: if you've been dating people 15 minutes away from you and it hasn't been working, and you've been doing that for the last 15 years, right? And now just because long distance don't work out for you one time, and they're like, I ain't doing that again no more because it didn't work out long distance.
Right.
Yeah, but you've been dating people 15, 20 minutes away from you for all your life, pretty much, and it hasn't been working out for you, right? But you continuously do that, right? So
And
that,
it
that could be a
and
topic for another.
it's so funny you say that, because I tell singles, like, one of the strategies is you always go into the same grocery store,
Always
shop somewhere else. Like, go to a different grocery
creatures of
store in
habit.
a different town, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go in the next town over, go to the next 3 blocks over.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Don't go
Fact.
to the same, whatever, right? Grocery store, or where you get your toilet paper, or where you get your, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
where you buy your lottery tickets, where you, whatever it is, right? Like, go somewhere else so that you can be in a different environment with different people. Paths will cross, like, you don't
Mm-hmm.
know. You like a certain chain of restaurant, you
Mm-hmm.
go out, take yourself out to eat, go in a different city.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You never know. And especially
I will
because
travel for food.
especially because in different environments, it's different. Like, you can go, have you ever noticed you can go to the same restaurant somewhere else and the vibe is just different? The
Different.
staff is
Different.
different, the bartender is different. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like, it's
Fact.
just a different type of atmosphere,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah.
It's very true. You know what I'm saying? And I think and don't be afraid to travel alone. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes like being alone is cool. You know what I'm saying? Like when I met my person, like yo, like I was by myself.
Mm.
No entourage, no group of fellas. You know
No,
what I'm
no entourage.
Yeah, no group of fellas with you. No, you know what I mean? I was just me dolo, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, at the end of the day, like sometimes that's more comfortable because sometimes like when you're with a bunch of guys and you a bunch of dudes, sometimes women they don't really like that too much. It's like, oh God, like all right, they all over here. The whole wolf pack is over here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? You know
And
what I
I mean,
mean?
same
Like
thing, same thing with, with girls as well. It's like,
yeah, that could be intimidating too because sometimes people it's like weird. Sometimes when you approach you're one person and the one guy and you approach a group of women and you try to talk to one of their friends. And sometimes you always got that one no girl and grabs her
yeah,
hand and then bounces and you just saying like, Dad, like hold on, I was just
why
trying
you
to
do
say
that?
hi.
Right,
Yeah, man,
right,
I was just trying to say hi. Stop hating on me, please. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So
right.
on
I
both
think
ends.
guys are really good with that, though, as far as if a girl comes over and wants to talk to a certain guy. I think guys,
Yeah,
I mean, from what I have experienced, I
that's
can't
true.
say for everyone, right? But what
That's
I
true.
have experienced and come across, like, guys are really good at, oh, let me walk away, or let me, you know what I mean? Let me turn, let me
Yeah,
talk to the guy
100%.
over here, let me, because they ain't trying to hate on their mans, you know what I mean?
Exactly. But the girls is just like, all right, so what you here for? What
Right,
so what you want? You know what I'm saying? Like you talking to
right,
her, you,
right.
you talking to all
Why
of
you coming
us.
over here? Right.
You buying all of us drinks? He
Right.
like, he like, yeah, I guess so, bartender. Get us drinks.
Right.
Damn,
Just so you can talk to
it's
the one
past
girl.
my dating budget. I'm supposed to
Right,
be for
right,
one,
right.
it's
Exactly.
supposed to be for one girl over here. And I gotta buy all these girls drinks. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, um,
Hilarious.
yeah, but definitely I think people just gotta get out their comfort zone too. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's stuck in their dating ways too. And it hasn't been working.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it just hasn't been working. Well, I've been doing this the same way I've been doing. You know what I mean? But it's just like, yo, like try something different. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? Like sometimes I feel like we block our own blessings sometimes, like when it comes to dating and stuff like that. But you know, that's
And
why
that's
we
why I
have
try to
people
get
like
singles
you.
to do, yeah, and that's why I try to get singles to do different dating ideas.
Speed
Like,
dating. How about that?
listen, well, I mean, in a different way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I have a singles event that I'm doing. It's we have 6 pool tables, and
Oh, word.
guys are teaching the ladies how to play pool.
Oh, snap.
So it's the guys stay at the pool tables,
Mm-hmm.
and the ladies rotate to each guy, and they're teaching them a new skill about pool.
That's dope. Where is this in the DMV area?
This is in Virginia,
Virginia.
in
Got you.
Monroe,
Got
Virginia.
you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
You gotta take that on the road, yo.
yeah,
For
yeah.
real.
I definitely been thinking about it because there are some nice places. Like I don't know where it is. I want to say it's Chicago. I'm not sure, but I want to go to the cereal bar. Like there's a whole cereal restaurant, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to go there. Like here in Hampton Roads, there is a game cafe, and it's over 600 board games in this,
What?
and you can go there
That's
and
crazy.
pay $5 and you play whatever game you want. You can eat food, you could blah blah blah, right?
That's fire.
That's another singles activity. Was it
That could be
like,
a dope singles event right there. Yeah, for sure.
like who wouldn't want to do that, right?
That would
So
be
this
a great date. That would actually be a great singles
oh,
event and a couples event too,
oh
actually.
definitely. Oh definitely.
Oh, we.
And
Okay.
being able to just be open to those things. So a lot of times the singles, they just don't come out for those type of activities, but
Mm.
they're afraid. But you have to get out of that point where you're afraid and just come
Wow.
out and not be thinking about, oh, I'm gonna hook up with this one or that one, or they're gonna be trying to hit on
That's
me.
gonna happen too. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I mean, if it happens, it happens, but you're coming out there for fun.
Right, right.
Have fun. Because when
Mhm.
somebody else sees you having fun, you're gonna be more attracted to them anyway.
Yeah. No,
So
a hundred
have
percent true.
fun.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, there's more than one
Because
ways to meet.
you don't know who the other person knows. So this is
Facts.
how people get tripped up. So like you go to an event, you may not be my type, but I may know someone
True.
who is just your type.
The
You
referral
understand what I'm
system.
saying? So how are you building your community so
Mm.
that you're able to meet other people? You don't know everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So now how
Hmm.
do you network so that you can meet the people that you really truly want to meet?
Yeah.
So what do they say? Like whatever celebrity you want to meet, like you're only 5 people away from actually meeting that celebrity or something like that, right? Like there's this whole thing about that, right?
True.
Or 10 degrees of separation or whatever,
Yep.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like all of those
100%.
types of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you truly are close. It's just the fact that you're not making the effort to get what you truly want. That's
Mm-hmm.
all it is. Make the effort. But you can't do that on your couch, right?
Nah, no, you definitely can't. You
You
gotta
can't do
get
that on your
on
couch. I mean,
that.
even in this age of, online dating, you still have to be
Yeah.
a person at some point.
Yeah. 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 And don't shun those virtual dates neither. But again, that could be a topic for another day.
Listen, I'm all for the virtual dates during the
Yeah.
demic, during the demic.
Yeah.
I had plenty of virtual dates. So
Yeah.
we've done
Yeah.
all types of things, fun things. So
But you know what though? And I think, maybe we'll make this a topic for another time. But
okay.
I'll say this. It will, when you are dating somebody from out, from that's not from your area, you are forced to be creative,
Oh yes.
right? And to me, that creativity should be honestly, if that create that if you have that level of creativity virtually, like when somebody who's out of town,
Mm-hmm.
but you apply it to somebody when you're in town,
Mm,
you can take your relationship to a whole nother level, because a lot of times when you 15 minutes away,
mm,
you lazy with it because it's easy. Like you could just be like,
right.
yo, let's roll over to Red Lobster. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah,
let's roll over to
we
somewhere.
definitely have to do a
Easy.
show on that because virtual dating in itself, that's like a category that we have not explored or really touched
We
as
haven't.
peers. And especially when you're talking about long distance dates. I mean, what is it to go to a bookstore and read poetry to one another? You're in your bookstore, whichever bookstore you pick. I'm in my bookstore,
Mm-hmm.
whatever bookstore I picked. And we're virtual though, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
on the phone, we're virtual. And we're reading poetry to one another, or we're showing someone our favorite book, or
You know what my favorite poet is?
who's that?
Rafael de la Ghetto. My love for you is like a river.
Definitely. And look, yeah,
Oh man.
that's a whole situation right there.
Yeah, nah. Look,
We
I
won't even get
think
into that, but that's a whole situation
that's a
right
whole situation that I think that needs to be talked about, because people are
there.
missing
Not in the sense of gossipy, right? Like it needs
no.
to be in the sense of really talking about relationship boundaries and
Mm,
being able to yeah, there's a lot going on in these streets. You heard
yeah.
about the DJ Envy and his wife, and that whole situation that was
Everybody want to be Bill and
going
Jada.
on. Oh, everybody wants to tell their intimate marital
Yeah.
business, and they're saying that they're doing it to help other people, but it's just
There's
is it really helping someone else? I would
you
be
can talk
I,
about things to help people, but
oh yeah,
you don't have to like dive so like detailed and stuff
yeah,
into your own, and it's almost embarrassing to the other person, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like it's like, ooh, like I didn't need to know that. You guys could have said
Yeah.
you guys had some issues, whatever the case was and whatever, but like you didn't have to go that far
Correct.
to where you're embarrassing your partner almost in a sense, and it's just
Yeah.
for what, right? To sell books or whatever the case is. I don't know, but it's getting crazy out here in these streets. But I do think that a good topic of conversation could be, long distance dating, virtual dating,
Mhm.
um, and the reasons why people don't do it, and then the reasons why
Mm.
people should.
Yeah.
Um,
I
you
would
know,
love to be part of that because my whole relationship has been I'm in a long distance relationship,
as am I.
and not only long distance relationship, but it was during the demic,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It started
Still in
then.
it. I feel like
So
it.
yeah.
These variants are
Oh no,
coming
we
out.
coming out of that. Uh they have lifted the mask mandate for the planes now, so
It'll
we
be
don't have
right back up in a couple months.
but and so like I said, those virtual dates, and we did plenty of those, and
Mhm.
really learning how to uh, be with one another without physically being with one another, right? And learning how to build that intimacy and that trust and those things
Mhm.
without physically being with someone.
Talk
um,
about it.
oh yeah, so I'm definitely down for that conversation, always down for that
Ooh
conversation.
wee. All right, so we're gonna make that happen. That actually might have to be alive.
Okay,
I
that
don't
works.
know. I mean, we gonna see because I want, I might want an interaction of people talking about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
definitely.
don't know.
I would love to hear their thoughts and ideas and their fears,
Hmm.
and so that I can put in my personal, experience on that. I would
Hmm.
definitely love that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like I said, we've also been through, different things. I know, if it's not public, then I'll edit it out. But I think you've been open about you've been divorced before and stuff like
Oh
that,
yeah.
right?
Oh
All
yeah.
right,
Yeah.
cool. I must say I edit out. But
No, no. Divorce is actually how I got into relationship coaching.
yes, that is true.
That's how I got there.
Mhm. Yeah.
We didn't want anyone to, have the experience that I had as far as um, feeling like you were blindsided by marriage and
Mm,
what it's all about, and
yeah.
that's a whole nother conversation. But really understanding what marriage is, and
Hmm.
that people really don't understand that um, that it's really the union
Mm,
that they should be focusing on,
mm,
and that marriage is only one part of the union,
hmm.
right? So that's a different conversation as well, but one that
Hmm.
needs to be had because we're being all fooled by love,
Mm,
and that it should all be about love,
mm, mm.
right? We're
Mm-hmm.
missing some really critical, crucial parts of being in relation with someone,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it working out and being healthy and successful.
Mm. Yeah,
Mhm.
man. I think me and you should go on tour. No, I'm just kidding. Um, nah, but
I mean, that
who
works.
knows? One day, I'm just saying, one day that might have to, that collab might have to happen. You know what
Don't
I'm
have to
saying?
happen.
The data mechanic times conversation just what's up? You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
But yeah, there's and both of us having gone through, divorces, and then, finding happiness again, going through that process, you know what I mean? Then in distance relationships, like we have a lot of things are similar, so we can relate to a lot of these things, and have that experience and have gone through those things,
Yeah, and
right?
help people out with this stuff
Right.
because
All right.
you
Without being messy.
yes, without being messy and being
So
helpful. You know what I mean?
that
Actually
part
being
right there.
helpful.
Um, so I want to get to more of the good stuff. So
Okay.
you got some products.
I
Ice, baby. Yeah.
some
You know what I'm
product.
saying? Yeah, you got some products back there that I want to know about, because I got some situations I might want to get myself into. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to say, um, I see you got some candles back there, you got some oils back there. Talk to me about this line
Do.
of yours.
So my ice line of candles, massage candles, and creams and melts and sprays, right? So I have a body spray.
Mhm.
And so all of my scents come in three different scents. You have bamboo coconut, you have
Ooh,
pure seduction, and
ooh,
and you
that
have
one.
Egyptian amber. So I have three signature scents, and they all come in these three products.
Mm.
So we have the body spray, the body mist that you put on right after a shower and makes your skin all glistening and all that good stuff. And then
Okay.
we have our massage candle that it comes in a bigger size, a 16 ounce, and then it comes in a 4 ounce,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
The wonderful thing about these massage oil candles is that you can actually put them on your body. So I know that, look, you give me the side eye. Everybody always gives me the side eye.
Hold
So with
on now.
candles, and you're talking about wax, if you're like, oh my God, does it hurt? Does it, all those good,
Burns.
yeah. But the good thing about this is that the wax content is very low and it's soy wax, right? So it's not
Okay.
wax
Okay.
to lighten a candle with, or your waxes. It's actually there's oils put in here. So you have your almond oil and your coconut and your shea, and you have all these different oils that are in here. So the wax just kind of makes everything stick together and solidify. But once you light that bad boy, it pulls up, and then you actually blow out the candle. You pour it onto your hand first, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't burn your hand. It doesn't.
Is it warm?
Oh yes, it's very warm, but it's not hot. So you blow it out, you pour it in your hand, and you rub it, and you see all the oil is just on there. So you can actually go into my
Ooh,
YouTube page,
cop
and you
something,
can see
baby. I'm
a
coming
video
home.
of it.
I'm
Yeah,
coming
you
home.
can
Hold on
go on
now.
my YouTube page, see a video of it, and then you'll kind of understand more
Okay.
about what it. But then it's just oil, and then you rub it on, and and then
Ooh-wee.
I have the lotion,
Okay.
right? Well, it's cream,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it has shea in it, and those good oils and stuff in there
That's
as
a
well.
massage cream.
It is a massage cream.
Ooh,
Yes,
can you mix the you know what I'm saying, the candle joint with the massage cream, and
can
I'm
you can
getting my
you can do this
ideas.
that. It
Okay,
also
okay.
comes in. Let's see, I have some notes here. It also comes in melts, right? And you can take those out and put them in your warmer as well.
So you gotta buy the so you buy pretty much get an oil warmer,
Yes,
candle warmer, right?
yes.
Or oil warmer,
Yes,
right?
and you can get
Okay.
those anywhere at any store. They're really inexpensive.
Ooh.
And you plug it up and you let that candle warm it up, right? And you could do it either by candle or you could do it by plug-in. There's different ones, right?
Plug it in, plug
But
it
if you
in.
want, right, exactly. But if you want to be flameless, get you a plug-in and it'll just warm it up, and then you can pour it right into your hand and
Get
keep
to
it going.
work.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
hold
that's what you want from
on
life. I'm trying
tonight.
to tell you is I mean, and of course, products have been tested and approved. So
That's what I like to hear. I
yeah,
like that.
so
I like that right there. Okay. Ooh wee.
tested and approved. So so yeah, go get you some products. It really puts a spin, a different spin on your intimate time together. There are different ways to be intimate, and of course, physical is one of them.
Mm,
And just taking the time to rub someone's feet, or
ooh,
their
mhm.
shoulders, or their back with this, it gives you an opportunity to be closer and bond.
And it's all natural
All
too.
natural ingredients.
It's
Yes.
not gonna burn you. You know, if
No.
anybody's been burned by candle wax before, I'm not gonna say it's me, but if anybody has been burned by candle wax before, just know, then you know what that feels like. So this right here is a different type
This
of
is not.
product. It's warm. It's not gonna burn you. It's not gonna stick to your
Correct.
skin. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? And it's black owned by a beautiful black woman. You know what I'm saying? Please go out and support. Where can they buy these
They can
products?
they can definitely go to aliciabennett.com and purchase these products. I have an Instagram store. They can go there as
Mm,
well. Um, I have a Facebook store. They can go there as well. So there's multiple ways that they can get it, but definitely aliciabennett.com. Go and get it, and I'm excited. And even
wow.
with the Dear Future Spouse line,
Yes.
we have all types of t-shirts and books and things that you can purchase there as well.
And you are doing some amazing things. You are healing some people one relationship at a time, one single at a time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you are doing some amazing work. I look forward to having more of these conversations with you, because they are important, and we have some more work to do. You know what I'm saying? It is
Yeah.
not by chance that we connected in the pandemic. Ourselves, you know what I'm saying? So we got some work to do. But you always bring it, and I appreciate you for having these types of conversations because it is necessary. I love
Mhm.
hearing from women and women of substance and women who are doing amazing things, and also hold men accountable and women accountable as well. So I really do appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time. I think we went overtime as usual.
That's
Um,
okay. That's okay.
you know what
If
I
it,
mean?
if it's a good conversation to them, they'll stay and they'll listen.
Yeah, it's a conversation of the heart. They
The
gotta stay.
conversation of the heart, they gotta stay.
They gotta stay. You know what I mean? This was very insightful, and I'm super appreciative. And definitely we'll have your links. Once this goes up, we'll have your links of your website and everything else. Man, I really want people to go out and support. I know I'm going to. I want to get into some things, so I know I want to be supporting that. 100%. You're gonna see an order from me very, very soon. Um, and yeah, definitely, I appreciate you, Queen. Thank you for doing this, and we'll do this again soon.
Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to the next conversation.
Definitely. Peace, y'all.